Mr. Howard Glazer will make some opening comments.
I'll just begin by recapping some of the actions taken today by the governor. This morning, the governor, along with federal, state, and local officials, conducted a helicopter tour of the regional impact of Hurricane or Storm Sandy. That included a tour of the aerial surveying of Breezy Point, followed by the Long Island coastline all the way down from Nassau County out to Fire Island, an overfly of the Nassau County impacted areas, particularly the power areas, damage on the Long Island Sound, then up through Westchester, and then back down the Metro North lines to Manhattan. We were joined by Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, as well as local officials and the county executives. Following that, today the governor visited and surveyed the damage personally at Breezy Point and the Rockaways, and then out to Long Beach, Long Island. The governor made a series of announcements today and took us into a series of actions, including announcing limited subway, Metro North, and Long Island Railroad service. In a moment, he'll make some additional important announcements about the regional transportation system that we're working to restore. The governor today also formally requested the maximum authorized federal reimbursement for federal aid to aid New York's response to recovery from Hurricane Sandy for all of the federally declared counties. The governor additionally announced this afternoon the reopening of LaGuardia Airport tomorrow morning, November 1st at 7 a.m. The governor has some other announcements to make today, and let me turn it over to him.
Great. Thank you very much, Howard. We're making progress. New Yorkers are working, and they're working together, and they're working at getting us back to work, and we are making progress. When we first began, we were focused on public safety and keeping people safe. That task largely has been completed. We're now focusing on the next two issues, which are transportation and restoring power. All roads in the downstate metropolitan area have been effectively cleared. We had significant tree damage, trees down all across the metropolitan area, obviously more in Nassau, Suffolk, and Westchester, some in Rockland. But the trees have all been cleared, and we've been making significant progress there. The Midtown Tunnel, the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, and the Holland Tunnel remain closed because of flooding, and we're actively working on those. Traffic in Manhattan today was very, very high, and the gridlock was dangerous, frankly. One of the reasons we believe the traffic was so high was because so much of the mass transit system was down. People needed to get to work, especially after missing a couple of days of work, so they had no alternative but to go into their cars. That created, as I said, an intolerable and dangerous situation. The HOV restrictions that have been put in place, we believe, will make a difference, and those HOV restrictions are on city bridges and state bridges coming into Manhattan, but we want to take further action. And as a further encouragement to have people take mass transit, which is coming online piece by piece, but as a further encouragement, I am declaring a transportation emergency and authorizing the MTA to waive fares on rails, subways, through the end of the week, Thursday and Friday. So commuter rails, subways, and buses through the end of the week, Thursday and Friday, they will waive the fares. The service in many cases is limited. Service in many cases will be crowded because of the volume, which is an additional reason why we feel comfortable waiving the fares through Thursday and Friday, and we hope it encourages people to take mass transit. The problems with the subway restoration and the rail restoration is still the flooding in the tunnels, and the flooding has been a problem from the beginning. We received more good news on that today. The Army Corps of Engineers has been marshaling assets from all across the country. They're bringing over 250 high-speed pumping devices, which will begin tomorrow morning, pumping in the priority locations, and we believe that's going to make a real difference. The pumping has been going on around the clock. It will continue to go on around the clock until we're finished. Also, we're going to begin tomorrow limited service from Ronkonkoma to Penn Station and from Port Washington to Penn Station. We began today service this evening from Penn Station to Jamaica. So once again, the MTA is doing outstanding work, and the system is coming back piece by piece. When it comes to restoration of power, I know people are frustrated. I spoke with many of the utility heads myself today. I stressed the importance of the repairs and the importance to make progress and to make progress quickly. The state regulates these utilities, and it is my intention to take into consideration the way the utilities handle this restoration when it comes to their regulation and their licensing. The utilities work for the people of this state, and the state is the regulator to make sure that they're performing their services adequately and responsibly. I believe how they prepared for this storm and how they repair after the storm is indicative and evidentiary of how well they're performing for the people of the state. So I fully intend to hold them accountable, and I've informed them as such. A couple of miscellaneous points. We're getting scattered reports of senior citizens, some people in public housing, who are running out of food and are in high-rise buildings and can't get out of the building because in some cases the elevator is not operational, and they're literally running out of food. We've requested from the federal government, from FEMA, 1 million meals and 1 million gallons of water. FEMA will start that delivery tomorrow morning, and we will begin the distribution of the same. Last point is we visited Breezy Point today, and we visited Long Beach today, and they are two communities that are truly devastated by the storm. Breezy Point, people are going back and forth, literally picking up the pieces of their lives. The number of homes lost in Breezy Point by fire is just tragic. That no one lost their life in Breezy Point is a miracle. It really is. Long Beach, the same thing. The devastation is everywhere you turn. And people are desperate. People are in tears. People have seen their lives literally washed away in some cases. And it is a painful situation to watch. It's painful for us to watch it on TV. It's painful for us to see our neighbors suffer this way. The only good news is the worst is really behind us. I believe that. And we're going to be okay. My grandfather, God rest his soul, used to say, as long as we have our health, everything else we can fix. And that's true. We can replace the bricks and mortar. We can repair the beaches. We can repair the subway tunnels. We can repair the bridges. We can build. We know how to do that, and we can do that, and we are doing that. There are a lot of people who want to help. Federal government is a great partner to us. There are resources that are coming in, and there are more resources that will be available. So we are going to be okay. And I believe there's a silver lining to this storm, which is we will not just rebuild, we will build back better. We are smarter, we are stronger. We're going to rebuild Breezy Point, we're going to rebuild Long Beach, we're going to rebuild the subway system, and it will be better than it was before. That's what New York is all about, and we're going to do it once again. Once again, I want to applaud all the first responders who are out there doing magnificent work. You know, the longer this goes on, it means the less sleep people are getting. And I've been running into people all day who have been up literally around the clock and then around the clock again. But their desire to help, their desire to do public service is stronger than their fatigue. And it's something to see. and I'm so proud of New Yorkers, and I'm so proud to be a New Yorker. The MTA and their team is an example of the people who have been working around the clock to get this city running once again. And with that, let me turn it over to Joseph Lhota for more details.
Thank you, Governor. And we are in the process of rebuilding the MTA. Earlier this evening, we started service on the Long Island Railroad from Penn Station to Jamaica. That service will continue tomorrow. But tomorrow, more importantly, we're going to have service from Ronkonkoma on the main line come in every hour, and it will be coming directly into Penn Station. We're also going to be having service on the Port Washington branch, where people will be able to come in from Great Neck into Penn Station. That's on an hourly basis as well. The really great news is we're dealing with Metro North. In Metro North's case, from Mount Kisco on the Harlem line all the way into Grand Central Terminal will be on regular schedule. It's not limited schedule. It'll be coming straight down, and it'll be on its regular normal schedule. The same is true from Stamford, Connecticut, on the New Haven line all the way through southern Westchester County into Grand Central Terminal. It too will be on regular schedule. We believe that's about 50% of all of the Metro North customers will be back having their regular service. The subway system. Subway system is going to open tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. It's going to be a limited service system. 14 of our 23 lines will be open. It will be a little bit more complicated than it normally is. Let me start with Brooklyn. As you know, we have tubes between Brooklyn and Manhattan that were filled with water, 7 of them. 3 have been cleared out right now, but we're not prepared to put any of the subway cars through the tunnels. We're still at the inspection and cleanup stage. So that if you live in Brooklyn and you take any one of the trains that will be working in Brooklyn, there are 3 locations where they will stop. One at the Barclays Center, where there will be buses available to take the passengers directly into Midtown Manhattan. One at Metrotech at the J Street Terminal. It also will take people into Midtown Manhattan. And then one in Williamsburg at the U Station. We are using 330 buses that will be used to shuttle the folks from Brooklyn back and forth. It's a whole flotilla of buses that will be there. For those folks coming in from Queens and the Bronx and from northern Manhattan, the lines that are open will come down. Some will terminate at 42nd Street. A few will terminate in Herald Square at 34th Street. We can't go south of there because we don't have power. We need power for the third rail to run the trains, so they'll turn around and they'll go back. That's our service for tomorrow. And as I said, it's limited service, and as the governor said, it will be free on Thursday and Friday. It's my expectation that we'll have more service on Friday. Every day we'll come back with more and more service. It's what we want to do. I would like to ask all New Yorkers who are on the subway system, ask for their understanding. The system's going to be a little bit different. The trains aren't going to be as frequent. There will be crowding. So if there's any opportunity for you to leave early or leave later than your normal hours, knowing that you'll get there safely. But just bear with us while we come back from what I've described as the most devastating event to ever happen to the MTA. It has been, and we're going to come back, and we'll be back to full normalcy in a relatively short period of time. But tomorrow is our first time back, and ask for your understanding because it'll be slightly different service, but we're going to get you to where you need to be.
Thank you. And once again, you have to remember the obstacles that the MTA is dealing with. As Joe said, the system has never gone through this before. You still have subway tunnels that have water from floor to ceiling, path tubes where you have water backed up the entire 5 miles or so of the entire system. So these are really, really historic obstacles that we're dealing with. Any questions?
So the MTA decided to cut off bus service at night below 23rd Street because you decided that it's unsafe for buses to be driving around.
That decision was made yesterday because it is in fact dangerous. There are people walking in the streets. They can't be seen. I've seen it personally myself. It is the safest thing to do to have the buses stop at 23rd Street because it is so dark in lower Manhattan right now, and the buses, it takes a lot to stop a bus. And with all the people that are in the streets, And there are an enormous amount of people are actually walking in the streets as opposed to the sidewalks until today when all the traffic showed up. But tonight, we're continuing the policy that we had last night as well.
So my two questions. Number one, how did you communicate that to people? Did you just see the line at the bus stop waiting thinking there was one coming? And then number two, why should cities be allowed taxis and other cars to be driving there when you guys have decided that it's not safe?
Well, first off, on taxis and cars, they're easier to stop than a bus. The bus is multi-ton weight. It makes it very hard to do. And it can do a lot of damage if it hits anything or anyone. That's at the core of our reason. My understanding, and I'll check on this, we're doing all of our communication through the internet, through our website, and also through social media. It's the fastest way to go out. I will look into that for you.
A lot of people down there don't have cell service right now. Are there any postings that are being put on?
There were postings. I don't know if they were put on press stops. I've seen some postings, but I will verify that. And what we can do, in areas where there's no electricity, it's hard to use the digital signs that we use on the subways. They, too, are out.
Okay? With that, we thank you very much. Thank you.